G'day viewers, this is Troy from Troy's Visual Arts channel. It's been a while since I last worked on my Iconoscope camera, as I've had some complications trying to get the blanking to work, and as usual, when things get too hard I get demotivated and I turn to easier hobbies like metal detecting and I've also been working on other less complicated projects. But anyway, getting back onto the camera again, picking up where I left off. Last time I was working on this, I was just trying to get the blanking to work and was unsuccessful. Well, anyway, I've got some great helpful information from Richard Deal of Lab Guy's World, and also from another guy who has successfully built a Iconoscope camera using an 1850 Iconoscope tube, which is a much larger version than the Iconoscope tube I'm using. Anyway, he's one of his recent emails, he's sort of given me some tips on how to get rid of the noise. So he's saying to me that the deflection waveform is getting into my video signal. So he's found that he had to, in his camera, completely shield the deflection yoke. And he's used copper screening all around it, and he's also shielded the deflection leads as well. Also, with the blanking, he's used 20 volts to blank his tube successfully. I think I was using about 28 volts or 21 volts, I can't remember, but yeah, I just wasn't able to get the tube to blank. But yeah, a lot of it's noise. I've got too much noise coming from the deflection, and also generally having my preamp unshielded and a bit of a distance away from the target output of the tube. So Richard told me to separate the preamp section from the rest of the video section of the video board, and put the preamp circuit inside of a shielded box and stick it right at the target output. Now, if I can make the preamp section small enough and fit it into a nice neat little box, I can do that. And that's actually what I plan to do, if all pans out well in that way. Now, going back to the shielding of the deflection yoke, it's going to be a pain in the ass job, because I've got to remove the yoke, and I'm going to have to refit the grip padding that's inside the circular hole that the yoke fits through. Going to have to use thinner gripping and all that. So also thinking maybe I could line the inside of the cradle as well with copper sheeting as well. I've got copper sheeting from work and scrap copper sheeting, so I'm pretty well got an abundance of that stuff. Also the leads, I may just simply get some shield sleeving to put around the deflection leads, or I may remove the wires completely and use shielded wire. I think that probably might be a bit more feasible, but I'll have to decide on that. Convenience wise, it probably won't be feasible, because I've literally made it so that the deflection leads plug into the board, and I've got plugs here, so that way I can conveniently take the yoke out without having to take the board with it. So yeah, I'm going to have to wrestle with that one. I think maybe just shielded sleeving might do the trick. Anyway, those are the plans for this camera, to reduce the noise, hopefully significantly. So yeah, shield the deflection yoke and put the preamp inside of a shielded enclosure and stick it right on the Iconoscope tube's target output. Okay, well, that's about it. Stay tuned for the next video when I've made some progress with this camera in what I say I'm going to do. This is Troy from Troy's Digital Arts channel, signing out.